Hello, everyone. Welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for the originals, Season 1, Episode 3, Tangled Up in Blue. I'm your host, Dom. With me, I have Umi.
Hey.
And Mike.
Hi.
How's it going, guys?
Only 3 episodes so far. Why does it feel like 10?
Yeah.
It does seem a little deeper in.
Hmm.
But, yeah. I'm liking the series quite a bit.
It's entertaining. Most definitely.
Definitely
It's Klaus. Klaus makes it entertaining.
Yeah, I like him and his one-liners. We were just discussing this the other night with Cleo, I think. Yeah, just his one-liners of the, I'm going to take this guy, compel him to believe that his mates found religion and moved to Utah.
Or
It's my favorite line.
Or that you stand a better chance of drinking the entire Mississippi through a straw. That was my favorite line.
That was a good one, yeah.
They were both good.
Yeah. So last week we kind of guessed that the song, the title might be a reference to Bob Dylan's song "Tangled Up in Blue." I couldn't find any relation to the episode. Did you guys? So.
No.
Not really, no.
I'm not familiar with the song, and so I pulled up the lyrics online and I just looked through them and I thought to myself, I can't really see what any of this has to do.
I mean, the only part in the song that retains to this series at all is that part of it was in New Orleans.
Right.
He mentions going down to New Orleans, and that's about it. So
it might be a distant relation that we're not quite sure, but I was almost expecting the song to be played, and I was 100% looking for it the entire time watching. Never came up, so I don't know.
Wait a second. When Thierry was playing the trumpet, did he play Tangled Up in Blue?
Ooh. He very well might have.
Pay attention.
I didn't pay attention either.
That's a good one. I didn't even notice. I'm going to have to go back and look at that now.
Yeah.
See what you did.
I'm going to do that as soon as this episode ends here. I'm going to go right on there and check that out. But, so, speaking of Thierry, him and this witch Katie kind of have this little relationship going. You get this vampire versus a witch. It's kind of like this forbidden love. Were you guys picking up a Romeo and Juliet kind of vibe there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't my first thought, but now that it's mentioned, I see that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she walks right in there. She casts this crazy spell. Like, we've seen Bonnie and stuff do this in the Vampire Diaries, where they're basically boiling their mind. They're giving what did she say? Ulcers or not ulcers? Aneurysms to constantly giving it to their brain, and since the vampires can heal, like that's what was causing them so much pain, because it was just this continuous cycle. But this she seemed to be doing in mass. And
she's really angry because Thierry had protected her earlier against a rogue vampire attacking her and ended up killing the vampire, which is against Marcel's rules.
Right. So
she didn't want that to happen to him. She didn't want him to get punished for that, which in turn she probably gets killed. Oh, she did get killed.
Yes.
Yeah. This whole thing set up that rogue vampire compelled by Klaus to do exactly what he did in the first place. This whole episode was just a long, drawn-out plan of Klaus's with a little bit of added evilness from Rebecca thrown in, but it was just one long executed plan that by the end worked out just about perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, as far as Klaus knows, his plan went off 100% perfect.
Yeah. Definitely was. But so we saw during that whole scene with Katie going in and just going nuts on all the things, casting the spell. We saw Davina almost seem like she was in pain. So,
yeah.
do you guys think she's linked to Marcel?
Probably. Because when Marcel was in pain, she was recoiling and like holding her head and getting going down like it really friggin' hurts.
Mm-hmm. And she empowered Marcel from wherever she was at to get him to stand up and try and keep fighting. So.
Yeah.
They became linked somehow for some reason, and I'm curious why.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But, so Sophie, she seemed to know who Davina was. So how do you think the witches actually know about Davina?
Well, she's a very powerful young witch in a city that has a bunch of witches. So it's possible that she could be a relative of one of them. Or, I don't know. Maybe she's a stranger witch from out of town who got caught up with Marcel. Or maybe she's one of their relatives who got caught up with Marcel.
Do you think she could possibly be the thing the witches are looking to get back from Marcel?
Very possible.
They didn't know what Marcel had, but now they do. So, yeah, they're probably going to try to get Davina back, but Davina doesn't look like she wants to go anywhere. She likes Marcel.
No. She seems to be sharing a pretty close bond.
Mm-hmm.
Jayla likes him or is enthralled somehow.
Yeah. So we also saw Rebecca and Cami getting a little chummy. So was this just part of Rebecca's strategy, or is Rebecca actually trying to be genuine for once?
You never know with her. She's a ball of fire. But she did mention that she liked Cami because she was different. She wasn't some, normal, dramatic, whiny girl. She was smart and sarcastic. So it's possible that Rebecca might try to befriend her.
Very possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm torn on that one. Like, Rebecca, at first it was definitely strategy, but after talking to her for a little bit, she may have gotten a glimmer of like in there, even though she was still going to use Cami for her strategy and execute plan of evilness. And like, Klaus even took her aside at the party they went to, and he's like, I always forget how he words these things, but it was like, dear sister, you truly are evil.
Yeah. I definitely think it's a little bit of Rebecca just being jealous.
That too. Possibly.
That is a possible thing. Yeah.
So, we also saw something we haven't seen since the backdoor pilot, which was Cami and Klaus. They seem to share a little moment at the party.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think? Do you think this is something that they're going to explore? And if so, what's going to happen with Haley?
Good.
I think Haley was that one night stand, and simply that. She happens to be carrying Klaus's baby. Yeah, okay. But I don't think, other than that, she really means anything more to him. He's not going to be mean to her, for heaven's sakes. But he's not going to actually, toss her aside either, because the child does need a mother.
Yeah.
So, but he's totally interested in Cami. You can see it.
He's definitely interested in her, probably for the same or similar reasons as Rebecca, that she's different. And she is an out-of-towner, if she mentioned that correctly, and she's studying a very fascinating field, abnormal psychology. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and I really haven't seen Klaus, any indication that Klaus really does care for Haley. I think he just cares that she's carrying his kid. And once, the kid is born, I don't see any reason for him to want to keep her around.
To look after the child.
So now do you see some conflict between Klaus and Marcel over Cami soon?
Oh, of course. Of course. Marcel's gonna figure out what Klaus is up to. And he's gonna realize that Klaus is into Cami, and there's gonna be a big explosion. A nuke going off between the two of them.
And what about Rebecca tying into all that? Do you think her getting involved with Cami is going to hamper Klaus's plan against Marcel?
At first, it seemed like that. It seemed like a really selfish thing to do, but it seemed to meld well with what he was doing. And he actually admitted to Rebecca that, what she did was truly evil and that it was working.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we see the witches getting together with Haley, and they got this ritual, this little, like, what was it, the amulet that they had over Haley's belly.
It's a scrying crystal of some sort.
Yeah, to try to find the gender of the baby. They've made it very clear that it was not a spell. How can that work if it's not a spell? It's got to be an enchanted item of some sort, which technically would be a spell, but they're not casting it, right? This is something that's already been cast?
Not necessarily. The crystal itself is a conduit of energy, and it feeds off the energy of the baby. If the witch uses it right, she can direct it to read the energy of the baby or of the mother, whatever. It's witchy stuff.
It's not actually casting a spell.
No.
It's just manipulating the natural properties of a living being and a scrying crystal.
You know,
Yeah.
I remember that there was something like this that people used to do themselves, like over to try to determine the gender of the baby. So it seemed really weird that the witches would be doing this too. Now, I'm thinking maybe the item is actually enchanted and that's what they do it, and then people saw the witches doing this and assumed that they could figure out the gender the same way, and that's how this tradition is carried on. But I don't know. It seemed a little weird to me.
Initially, that might have been the case, but, I mean, a lot of people believe that it is possible to do that without any type of magic. And maybe that is one way that the witches could step away from magic and actually do something that gives them an outcome that you wouldn't know otherwise.
Yeah. So, what was it? Sabine was her name? She
Yes.
was doing the thing, whatever you want to call it, the ritual. And then all of a sudden she got this like demonic possession over her. And she started chanting this phrase, and I believe Mike actually had translated it, but the phrase is os es infinitum malorium nos ominu prodatu el ium.
Yeah, we figured out
That's
this
pretty
phrase.
close.
It's pretty close. We
I don't speak Latin.
Yeah, neither do I. But the last part of the phrase we got because at the end Haley's searching through translator after translator, like, oh, is this Bulgarian? Is it Czech? The whole time I'm like screaming, it's Latin, you fucking moron. Who doesn't know Latin when they hear it, even if you don't speak it? I mean, you can instantly pick out that it's Latin. At least I can. I don't know.
This is Haley we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm screaming at the TV, it's Latin, you friggin' imbecile, and I see Latin on the list. She just doesn't get to it before the episode ends. But combining about 10 minutes with Google Translate and the woefully little amount I know about Latin, roughly translated what she was spouting to the child is evil and it will destroy everything. Or it's like a toss-up between this child is evil and will destroy all, or the child is evil and we will lose. So, yeah.
I see.
But I mean, it destroying all and, we will lose, kind of the same thing.
Right.
Really. It, like, the very root of it, it's the same concept.
So, we kind of had confirmation that it is in fact a hybrid baby.
Yes.
So what are you guys' opinion on that?
I knew it.
Yeah, I thought it would have been an interesting twist if it was just pure wolf. But, yeah, I mean, obviously they were leading up and foreshadowing that it's going to be a hybrid baby, but, I like the vampire part of Klaus is dead, because vampires are dead, so it couldn't reproduce, so it just got the wolf in him and the wolf in Haley, so it's going to be a pure wolf, and I would have liked to see Klaus's reaction to that.
Yeah. I don't know. I was expecting it to be a boy, and they kind of said that it was going to be a girl, and told Klaus, and he kind of had this little smile on his face. I figured he would be a little disappointed.
I saw that smile and I was like, aw, he cares.
He wants to be a daddy. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
That's what was going through my head when I saw that.
Do you guys think the gender ritual is actually wrong and it could be a boy?
Also,
Oh. Sure.
the first thing Sabine said was, I think it's a girl.
Well, a doctor doesn't even really know I mean, you could go to the doctor, be told it was a girl, and it pops out as a boy, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. I was told it was a girl.
This is very
So,
true.
it's never exact.
Yeah.
Mm.
So do you think that possibly when the quote-unquote demonic possession was going on, that it was actually Jane Ann speaking through Sabine to pass as a warning?
It's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she is the most recently deceased witch who would have information to give to the witches.
Well, she had contact with Haley, too, and she was trying to link Sophie and Haley at that time, when before she died or whatever. Maybe she got off the spell or whatever. She was connected to Haley and the baby, so it is possible that she was the one speaking through Sabine, yeah.
Yes, very possible.
Interesting. So, next week we have episode 4. It's called A Girl in New Orleans, and Davina finally gets out. Right? Marcel agrees to let her out of her confinement. There's a big festival. Davina goes to that, and Camille actually is the one watching her. And we have Agnes is going to convince Haley to go see a doctor, and they're going to make a shocking discovery. So maybe the gender's wrong, maybe what we were just speculating on, or maybe it's twins.
It's twins!
That's a good thought. Because, she was like, I think it's a girl. Wait. No. What? And then it's like, all of a sudden, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also learned this episode, Davina was very adamant on not letting Elijah go. After everything that happened this episode, Klaus ended up saving. He was the one that killed the witch. He ended up saving Marcel. Marcel says, in good showmanship, I'm going to give you your brother back because that's what you wanted. And Davina's like, absolutely not. We are not returning him until I find out how to kill Original. So, do you think when Davina leaves, this is going to be a good time for Rebecca and the team to possibly relocate their brother, bring him home?
Yes, it would be a good time, assuming they found out where he is, or where she is, or was. Places.
Yeah.
I don't know, Davina's gonna cause some issues. She's gonna go looking for the Originals, because she sees them as a threat, and she's kind of a dumb kid. And she's gonna go looking for trouble.
Yeah, definitely. And we also know that we're going to get some information on Cami. We're going to find out some information about her past. It's supposed to be a little alarming, so what do you guys think that could possibly be?
She killed someone?
She's related to vampires. And she's hip with the whole thing.
She's actually Klaus's mom in another body.
Ah.
Maybe she's Alaric's sister.
Does Alaric have a sister?
Did he have a sister?
Who knows?
I don't remember. I don't know if it was ever mentioned.
I don't believe in the books Alaric had a sister, so. But then again, Elena didn't have a brother, so that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to go. Yeah, exactly. There you go. My favorite character in True Blood, Lafayette, in the first book, he dies.
Yeah.
And now we're, 8 seasons in and he's still there?
Spoilers.
Yeah. Spoilers.
We don't deal with spoilers all the time on this show.
Exactly.
That's
what
Titanic sinks, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
Seen
totally.
DiCaprio.
Mm-hmm. Apollo 13, all the astronauts survive. Just putting that out there.
Armageddon, the world doesn't end.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Omikins, where can the people find you?
Can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
Mike?
They can find me also on Twitter at Philidren, Thilladren.
And you can follow us on youtube.com/ASOTV podcast for more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows.
That place.
Let's say that a little bit faster next time.
Okay.
You can follow us on youtube.com at ASOTV Podcast for all your favorite shows and episodes of the blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
Ta-da.
That sounded like a turkey.
That was a turkey.
Hey, Thanksgiving's coming up.
Thanksgiving passed if you're Canadian.
No, that's not real Thanksgiving.
I know. That's according to you. That's not real Thanksgiving. Our Canadian viewers might take issue with that.
No.
It is real.
No,
It's real.
I'll compel them. I'll let them know that it's not real.
No, it's real.
Okay, their Thanksgiving is our Columbus Day.
We just have a different harvest season, so it's earlier.
They harvest earlier, so it makes sense that their Thanksgiving would be earlier. It's logical. And he just ends the show.